Hello everybody, Zapman here to give you the mid-season patch new builds. The mid-season patch saw a lot of changes to how pen is distributed throughout the items, and therefore builds have changed. And let's get right into it. So I'm going to give you guys 3 builds. One is going to be the standard auto attack crit build. The second one is going to be a power pen build. And then the third one is going to be the standard Mage ADC build. Now, all these builds are builds that I like and I prefer. There could be different builds out there, but these are the ones that I like. And then you guys can, look at all the builds you see out there, compare and contrast, and then decide what works for you. So let's get started. For the auto attack build, I start with the standard Hunter's Blessing into Devourer Gloves 1. That doesn't change. So you build those 2 and you get 4 pots. And then after that, I like to finish my Devourer's Gloves. Let's get that here. And build that. And then I go right into Attack Speed Boots. You notice the first 2 items have not changed. They're very standard. But now here's where things do change. Usually third you would go Executioner last patch, but they have nerfed that item to the ground. It is actually pretty terrible unless you're against super duper high prots, like 300 plus prots. Then you might consider getting it later on in the build, but we'll go over that when we get there. Now the new third item that I like to go is Atalanta's Bow. It's an extremely strong item. It gives you 30% attack speed, 25 physical power, and 20% physical pen. So 20% physical pen will get you through the early game prot items while you start building up your damage multiplying items such as crit or chin size. So you definitely want to build this. Also, the passive is like a mini Fatalis. That's pretty sick too. And now this is where you'll probably see a lot of builds differentiate, but I still like to go Rage 4th because I think Rage is the best crit item in the game because it gives you up to 45% crit chance with the stacks, which is insane. And the best way to multiply your crit damage is by getting more crit. So the higher crit you can get, the better it is. Better crit is. So we build that next. And then after that, I like to go into Wind Demon because only 2 crit items now have 10% pen on them. And you want to get to the cap, which is 40%. You already have 20% off Atalanta's Bow. So you're looking for the next 20% in your crit items. So I like to build Wind Demon because it gives you attack speed, which is extremely strong. The passive is extremely strong for trading, for running away, for chasing, for whatever it is. Movement speed is an insane stat, and you get that on your passive. And as well as you get the 10% Fizz Pen if you crit, which you probably will most of the time. So I build that for 5th. And then for my final crit item, last season you guys saw either Deathbringer or Poison Star, but neither of those items have crit chance now. So let's take a look. The only other option here is Fail Not, because that's the only other crit that they gave pen to, which they kind of force your hand to building Fail Not. I would like to see crit on Deathbringer or maybe even Malice, so we have more options. But right now we're kind of pigeonholed to build Fail Not here if you want to reach the cap, the pen cap, through your crit. You could get it on your 7th item, but I kind of like getting it as early as possible. So, and also Fail Not is a pretty good item in its own right. It has a pretty decent passive, 45 fist power, 20% CDR, never hurt anybody, so I like to build Fail Not. Oh, we got to take out Hunter's Blessing, build Fail Not. Okay, and now for the 7th item, here's where things get really spicy. You can build maybe 5-6 different things here. For example, you could not get Fail Not, maybe get Deathbringer, and then go Berserker Shield last. You could do something like that. You can build anything that doesn't have pen there, and then get Berserker Shield last, or definitely don't get Silver Branch, a really bad item right now. So you could do cool things like that, but I prefer this build. And for your last item, it definitely is situational. You have a lot of solo lane builds now that have a lot of health. Stone of Gaia is becoming a little bit meta. So you can go Chin Size here. I know there's a common misconception that Chin Size and crit is bad, but it's not bad. It's actually insanely high DPS. You don't look at Chin Size complementing the crit. Chin Size on its own is its own type of DPS or its own type of damage, right? Crit is crit, Chin Size is yellow damage. Now, what scales yellow damage? It scales by percent pen, which we have 40% of, and it scales by attack speed, which we have plenty of, especially with the Wind Demon and the Atalanta's bow. So Chin Size is an actually insanely strong item here that you can get when you see the other enemies go a lot of health. Now, if they decide to build a lot of prots, you can still go Executioner because it's still the best way to shred all those protections. Strong item. Into someone that's going maybe 300 plus prots, get Executioner. It's still good in shredding those prots. I mean, it's not good, but it's your best bet, best available option. And in other situations, you can say, okay, I'm kind of free casting, and a lot of people are grouped up. Maybe I want to go oboe because I can take a full advantage of the bouncing, and I'm free casting. And because, like I said, what oboe's yellow damage, what scales yellow damage? Percent pen, which we have, and attack speed, which we have plenty of. So oboe is also an extremely strong option here for 7th item. Maybe the assassin is trying to box you and he doesn't really quite 100 to 0 you, but he gets you really low and you wish you had a little bit extra lifesteal. Another option you could build 7th would be the Aussie. Aussie's actually extremely strong here for the trades. If the situation I just mentioned is your case. And then last but not least, you can always get a mantle. All right, if you just getting so dove and all you need to do is survive for that 1 second so you can jump away, mantle could be a great option. For example, against a Loki or a Mercury that wants to just alt and one tap you with his 1,000 crit auto. So these are the options, about 5 options here for your 7th item. They're all extremely strong and all situational. Definitely look at your situation and decide which of these items would be good for you. Okay, and that's it for the auto attack build. Next up, we're doing the power pen build, which is a build that you use on hunters that you want to scale their ability damage. For instance, Uller, Chiron, Neith, Heimdall, gods like that. And now how I start the build is I like to go trans 2. I think in a god, in a build like this, you want to rush Transcendence as much as possible because you want to stack it up. You want to have as much fizz power as early as possible. You want to be able to spam spells as early as possible. That way your god can get going as early as possible. So I don't really like the blessings when I go trans. I have to go trans 2, 6 pots, right? The amount of pots you get is up to you. You can go 4 health, 2 mana, 5 health, 1 mana if you think you're on the extreme back foot, which you probably won't ever be. You can go 3 health, 3 mana if you feel like you're going to be able to be pretty aggressive. So this is how I would start my build when I go power pen. And then after that, I would finish the Transcendence as fast as I can. It's actually a pretty good bag timing when you finish Transcendence. It's only 1,400 gold when you start Trans 2. So you actually rush that really quick. You start stacking really quick. You become powerful really quick. After that, I like to go attack speed boots because attack speed is always nice. You don't really need that extra 20 fizz power. That it doesn't really mean anything. The 25 attack speed you get means way more than that extra 20 fizz power you get from power boots. And they added 100 mana, which is, it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. Even with the Transcendence synergy, it doesn't matter. The 25% attack speed is way more beneficial here. Get Ninja Tabby. Now, third, this is where you can go a couple different things. You can either go Crusher if you don't need anti-heal. If you need anti-heal, I would recommend going Brawlers. So let's put them both on the screen here. Brawlers. Building anti-heal. I was joking. It's actually good in this build. So it's either Crusher or Brawlers, right? You build one of them. Let's just say Crusher in this instance. And then after that, I like to go another flat pen item, which is Jotuns. Jotuns is really good because, again, you're spamming your spells. It has a little bit of mana. It has the 20% CDR, as well as a 10 flat pen. It synergizes really well with this build and what you're trying to do with the build, which is spam abilities and do as much damage as you can to squishies during the early mid game. And when people don't have a lot of prots, still really strong. Now we're getting to the point in the game where it's about mid game. You want to start building up your percent pen. You have 2 options here. In the old build, you go Heartseeker or Titan's Bane, but in the new build, the buffed Atalanta's bow is actually extremely strong to get over Titan's Bane. It has that attack speed, that insane passive. And now, before, when you were slowly autoing for 500, you're now kind of fast autoing for 500. So Atalanta's is actually extremely strong replacement for Titans. Now, to decide whether you go Heartseeker or Titans here, you want to look at the enemy team. Do they have a lot of protections online already? If it's yes, then you build Atalanta's. If they only have maybe 1 prod item, you can go Heartseeker first and start getting that insane power and the passive. And now they also changed Heartseeker to have 10% pen instead of 10 flat pen. So again, you're building to start killing those tanks. So you build a Heartseeker, then you just get whichever one you didn't get 5th, you get it 6th. Then I build Atlanta's Bow. Once you have these 6 items, you are a wrecking train. It is actually an insanely fun build to play right now. Your ability is one shot, your auto is one shot. No one can really mess with you. For the last item, you have a few options. You can go into Aussie. You want a little bit more flat pen, or you just want some lifesteal. Some people don't like playing without lifesteal. You can get it 7th. You can go the trusty old mantle. Again, if you're getting super bursted, no chance to auto or do anything, that 1 second stun can really save your life, or get an ability off where you one shot and turn the tables. So you can do that. If you're free casting, you can go oboe. You can go oboe. If people have a lot of HP, you can go chin size. If you want a little bit of hybrid action and you want to finish off your percent pen, you can go Berserker Shield. It's not bad. But you don't really get too much benefit because you don't really have lifesteal. So when you do get below 50%, you're kind of, getting owned. But it is situational. It can be a decent item. If you know, okay, their burst only gets you to 50% health or 40% health, and you feel like you can sit there and auto for a little bit, could be okay. I don't really recommend it, but I'll put it up here in case you want to mess around with it. And what else can you go? You got Aussie, road, shin size, boom, boom, boom. And that would be about it. You guys think of anything else that you might want to go? I mean, you could go Void Shield as well, but, that's super situational. Up to you. You can even go Blood Forge if you wanted to. Right, where's the other one? Just up to you. Just mess around with it, see what you like to do. These items have pros and cons. You go shifters. It doesn't really matter. I personally would most of the time probably go mantle because you already do enough damage with these items right here. The trans double flat pen into Heartseeker oboe. You already do a crap ton of damage. After that, it's about survivability. So a lot of times I'd probably go mantle. Maybe I would consider the Aussie. Maybe consider the oboe if I'm literally under no pressure. Even Blood Forge if I really think I'm going to be one-shotting. So that's what I would do, but I want to keep your options open because these other items that I put here are viable as well. Up to you. Mess around with it and see what you like. Okay, and now, last but not least, we're going to go over the Mage ADC builds because they buffed one item in particular, the Ring of Hecate. And yes, it's pronounced Hecate. Has really brought Mage ADCs back into the light. I mean, they are really strong right now. I love them personally. How I would start, this is the very standard Mage ADC build. You can use this on all 4 Mage ADCs, and the 4 Mage ADCs that I'm talking about are Chronos, Sol, Olorin, and Freya. I like to start with Hunter's Blessing, build, right? And then you go Ring 1 and 4 pots. You can go 3 health, 1 multi, 3 health, 1 mana. I like to go 3 health, 1 multi on Sol, especially because she has a lot of mana already in her pool. It's a god like Chronos. You might want to consider getting the mana pot because he actually has a lower pool, about 240. Sol has around like 330. So it's a big difference there. Check out the gods and see what your preference is in terms of pots. Now, I don't like to finish the ring first because the Mage ADCs usually don't have good escapes. They're slow, easily ganked, low HP pool. So I, personal preference, like to finish my Shoes of the Magi first. That way I have some mobility, I have a little bit of lifesteal. And I like the Shoes of the Magi because the lifesteal synergizes with the Ring of Hecate that we're going to be going next. After you finish your boots, go ahead and finish your Ring of Hecate. And now at this point, you are a machine. Okay, once you have these 2 items, nothing can stop you. Start bullying the other hunter or whoever it is. The only thing you have to worry about is getting all in. Make sure you don't get 100 to 0. Try to get some poke off for free. Heal up, sustain with your Ring of Hecate, and you should be a-okay. You should be bullying your lane, having a lot of fun right now. And then every item after this, you're just power spiking an insane amount. You can either go Demonic Grip if you feel like you want the attack speed and it's going to benefit you. A god that I would probably go Demonic Grip here third would be Freya, and probably only Freya, because the 4th item I would get would be Spear of the Magus. They just recently buffed Spear of the Magus. It has flat pen, 110 magical power, and it's passive. If you hit anyone, whenever you damage an enemy god with an ability, you mark them taking 7% 7.5% increased damage from all sources. So anyone from your team does 7.5% more damage to the target you're on. So it is an insane build. I like to build this either third or fourth, like I said. Gods like Kronos, I like Spear the Magus third because he has so many abilities that you can do damage with. Freya mostly scales from attack speed, so Demonic Grip is a good third, but you can still get it fourth and go ahead Spear Magus third. Your ult will literally one-shot when you get Spear the Magus and you're playing Freya, right? Same with Soul. Soul, I would go Spear the Magus third. And Olarin. Olarin, you can go either one. It kind of doesn't matter, but Spear the Magus is still really good on Olarin as well. So that's that for third and fourth items. Fifth item is just standard Telkines. Telkines is an extremely good damage multiplying item. Goes really well with the ring builds and attack speed. Awesome. Now you have these items. What are you looking to get to next? You want to build some percent pen because the tanks are starting to build their Oni Hunter's Garb and their Genji's Guard, right? So they're going to have a lot of magic prods. So what you do is you sell your Hunter's Blessing and you go into Obshard. And here's your 20% pen that you get in when you get Obshard. You could go Karen's Coin, but it's kind of just a worse Obshard in my opinion. You have to stack Karen's Coin, and sometimes you might not stack because you remember you're getting it sixth. And mages, their abilities do a lot of damage. So the extra 10% magical pen that you get actually helps a lot. Whereas in the physicals, they don't do as much damage as mages in terms of their abilities. So Obshard is definitely a better choice here most of the time. You can still build Karen's Coin if you're feeling like you can stack it up and you get value out of the movement speed and the HP 5. Sometimes I do build it, but 9 times out of 10 you'd probably get Obshard. And now to round out this build, I would sell my boots and I would go into Typhons. You lifesteal for so much once you have Typhons. You have 30% pen. Your auto attack shred, your ability shred squishies and tanks. With this build right here, you are a machine. You literally kill everything in front of you. You are a little bit susceptible to getting all in, but Mage ADCs, they do have pretty good at the end game survivability with their alts. Freya has her ult that makes her immune. Kronos has his rewind. Soul has her 3 and her CC immune in her ult. And Olarin has his ult. So you just have to have good positioning if you want to go this pure damage build. As long as you have good position, you can kill anyone, outtrade anyone, and you lifesteal back to full pretty easily. So it's just a positioning thing. Don't want to be in a position to get all in off the first blinks. So play a little bit smart in the beginning of the team fights, and you will destroy them. If you feel like you're getting owned and you can't it's impossible to position well, just go ahead and get a mantle, standard 7th item, and that's it. This build you can use on the 4 magical ADCs, like I said. Extremely strong right now. Play magical ADCs. They're a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of fun with them. Go this build. I promise you will have a lot of fun. And that is it. I did this in one take, so there's a lot of uhs, but whatever. But that's kind of how I do it. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the build guide. If you have any comments, concerns, or anything else like that, definitely leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this guide, like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.